In the previous tutorial, we learned how to write a web API that accepts no parameters. We executed it to return all the records of a table. And in this tutorial, we shall add another web API that accepts a parameter and returns data on the basis of that parameter. Let us first learn how to decide on the URL of an API that accepts parameters. The technique is to add the parameter as a segment of the URL to the API. For example, if the API is /doctor/fees and let us suppose the parameter is called AMT, then the URL for the API would be /doctor/fees/AMT in curly braces. Notice that the curly braces are required to define the root parameters. We can add some root constraints to this parameter. The first is that we can restrict its data type to an int type so that only numeric parameters are matched. For this, a data type constraint is specified in a template like this: /doctor/fees/amt : followed by int. Int is not the only possibility. We can specify various other data types such as bool, datetime, decimal, double, float, GUID, long, and even regular expressions can be specified. You will have to refer MSDN documentation for all these finer detail. And next, a range constraint can be added also. For example, we can specify a minimum value. A minimum value of 0 can be specified like this: doctor, fees, AMT, int, min, followed by the minimum value that we want to specify. A benefit of root constraints is that if a URL doesn't match the template, then the ASP.NET Core engine rejects that request before it reaches the API function, which prevents any disruptive exceptions from being thrown. A 404 not found response is sent, as we will verify in a moment. Next, we add this new web API to our program.cs file. Open the Solution Explorer and locate the program.cs file. Double-click and open it so that we can examine the code. This is the program.cs file, and let us scroll towards the end where we have already added the new API. As you can see, this API now accepts a parameter called AMT, and that it must be an int type and of a minimum value of 0. It returns all the records that have a fees value that exceeds the specified parameter. We can now run the project and call the API by passing a parameter of value 100. The root now becomes doctor fees 100. Run the project and verify that only the matching records are returned, and therefore the API is working as expected. And lastly, let us try a URL that will fail the constraints. So we can try this URL doctor fees ABC, and we verify that the request fails with the 404 error. You can obtain the